Alright, so today's Rogue Wednesday. I've decided, by the way, to not do the streaming anymore, at least for the time being. I may bring it back at some point in the future, but right now it's not really attracting enough people, and the times that it does attract more people, it's much harder to find games because it's really late at night. So I think it makes more sense to just pre-film it, put it on YouTube. People can watch it anytime they want. I'm still going to do Rogue Wednesday. I'm just going to release the videos on Wednesday instead of doing the stream on Wednesday. So this week will be the first week of that. I'm doing Ezuri, Renegade Leader. I'm playing an Elves deck. So you got a bunch of cheap elves. They give you cool things and whatever, and then like there's a bunch of ways to get extra mana, um, like Elvish Archdruid, and then there's Wirewood Channeler, and there's a land Aura Elvish Guidance, and there's a few other ways, like Heritage Druid and Birchler Rangers to make mana with your elves, and even Earthcraft, and where's the other one? Oh, Cryptolith, right? So, and then there's a bunch of payoff spells to do stuff with your big mana, which either usually involve drawing cards or winning the game outright. And then, of course, Ezuri is a payoff for all your big mana to trample over and just do a ton of damage with all your little weenies. So, I figured that I would give this a try. I probably will not be playing this one in a league. There's some pretty clear weaknesses to the deck that I think will prevent it from being really league worthy, but it's still a really fun deck and it can do some really nuts stuff out of nowhere. So I thought it'd be fun to play as a rogue deck and see how it does. All right, I got a game. I'm on the play. Looks mostly keepable. Yeah, looks fine. Playing against Gissa and Giraffe. So interesting. Elves versus zombies. Fight! Draga, Tree Speaker, and Seeker of Skybreak is an interesting combo. Not sure what's taking so long here. It took me a minute to find a match. Okay, so it's actually moving forward. Alright, there we go. For some reason it's really slow even though it's like 9 p.m. Alright, blue. That makes me relatively unafraid to... what land do we want? Let's go with the hollow. There's not much that bounces this. There's nothing that really punishes that. But that's a lot of mana right there. So we got up to 7 mana next turn. 6 if we want to wasteland something. We can cast both of the creatures in our hand. No wasteland. Thing in the ice. Alright. It's a little bit tough to get through. It's interesting for a Giza, so I guess maybe he's not playing zombies? He could still be playing zombies. Just... other elves get +1/+1, making this a 3/2. So I guess there's no point in attacking. So we might as well just untap it. Play this thing. Do I want to leave up? Let's leave up Yamamaya Hollow. Our creatures are pretty important at this point. What's it cost? 8 more mana to make this? Make all our elves create 2 mana? Oh, he's missing a land drop. That's not good. As expected. Let's play an elite. And a herald. Going super wide here. Alright. So he missed mana. Hardly a fair matchup or a fair game, but we're not going to wait. Since it's broken, I'm not going to wait 250 for. So we'll just move on. Alright, going to give it another try. Let's see if he can draw mana this time. Hand looks pretty good. I'm really interested to see how Ronus Monument is. I'm already starting to wonder if I cut Stoneforge Masterwork. We'll see. We'll see how it does. So, he didn't switch decks or anything. I don't know, if he holds up removal, we're not doing much anyway. Well, yeah, I'd rather get removal than counterspell. Alright, so, alright, nothing. So that's an excellent turn right there. Alright, that sucks. Do we just go for it right now? Let's draw this and put that on top of our library. That's fine. So let's... Or would I rather have this? I'd rather have this. Gives me that messenger. I can even stack for the messenger. Make sure I can cast something next turn. Oh, he's got his own monument. Whenever you cast a creature spell, opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Interesting. So we do need to be a little bit careful here. Oh, that's kind of mean. This doesn't allow us to stack. Neither of these are elves. Do I pay 4 life? Pay 4 life? Let's do it. And let's play this guy. This guy gains this life. It might not have been very nice of me, but it is tournament practice room, so like those kind of things are going to happen. It does suck if he stalls out on mana again. Like, I'd like to know if this deck actually has some legs. It's an interesting deck, you know? Maybe I'll try it in another Rogue Wednesday. Not sure what's happening here. Yeah, we definitely want to use the ability. Neither of these are elves. Let's just do that. The rest on the bottom of our library. That's probably fine. Let's just take the one. That's fine. We actually get to cast it and make this thing giant. We're in gain 3 life, which offsets our Sylvan Library a bit. Somebody just stopped watching and then started watching. Alright, he drew a land. He's still stalling out pretty hard. There's a tap land. At least he gets the scry. This is for each creature you control. Yes. I kind of want all these guards. Especially with how, like, they're so cheap. I think I might be able to kill him. Can I do anything else? I can basic land, tap this thing, basic land, tap this thing, okay, a masterwork, equip it to this guy. That's most of his life, but not all of it. We're in a pretty low life total, but we get the Well-Wisher next turn, unless he kills it. But if he doesn't, if he kills that, then there's so many other threats on the board. I think he's dead. I guess he could Wrath. That would be approximately good enough. Alright, it looks like he's just quitting. I don't know why you do this. Like, people do it in multiplayer Commander, and I still don't understand why you do it. It's just a casual game. I'm just gonna move on. There's no reason. I'm gonna call this a win. There's no reason to do that. Alright, we got another match. We are on the play. Looks pretty keepable. We're playing against Selvala. So, Selvala might be hard. We don't have a lot of removal. Good chance Selvala just goes over the top of us. But we'll find out. Might be able to erase it. Let's play the elite first and get our alpha off of it. And then offer the trade that I'm sure he won't take. Happily make this trade. Didn't think he was going to take it. So he plays Selvala, I'm sure. Oh, Mismatch Forest. These non-foils are really cheap. Just pick up a bunch of them, man. Alright, so sometimes it can take him a couple of turns to really get that working for him. Yeva's pretty good here. I guess if he goes to cast something, we can flash in Yeva if it's got more than 4 power. He might have one of the combo pieces just gives him tons of mana. Sometimes it takes him a turn or two, well, an extra turn to get something big into play with this only tapping for 2 mana. Yeah, he's only tapping it for 2 mana. Then you get something like that's a 6/6 into play, and then you have 6 mana the next turn. So it usually takes an extra turn. Unless you have one of the things that that dies but gives you a bunch of mana. Nope. Shame to have to show him this, but I want to draw a card. And this stops me from drawing a card. This is another trade I would happily make. I want to draw a card, bro. Yes, please. Oh, that's interesting. I could attack with 2 things. I don't think he wants to attack. Yeah, he gives it flat haste, but do you really want to attack? I will block. All right. Oh. Oh, that sucks. Well, at least he's not using his Invigorate for mana. That's a thing. Do we... He's gonna get all the mana no matter what. Let's attack. This is an elf. This is an elf. So we gain a lot of life from the Well-Wisher. Although this deck just, they're just looking to play like Ulamog and other big giant things. We don't have a way to generate a ton of mana yet. Because if I could somehow get to 8, I don't think there's any magic card that gets me to 8. Alright, that doesn't draw you a card. You can still generate 5 mana with Selvala because of this elf. Funny enough, this is also an elf. So there's this 5 mana. What are you playing? Ooh. Ooh. I think we're dead. I mean, I never thought we had much of a chance, but Jit is like the worst card against this deck. Not gonna give him the Well-Wisher. Probably the Arbor Elf? Yep. Cut off my mana and my life support. Alright. There's no winning that. I think this matchup is virtually unwinnable. You'd have to be really fast, and they'd probably have to stall on mana. I don't think there's much you can do about that. Alright, we got another game. We're on the play again. Playing against Tassiger. Okay, so a real deck. And we have 1 colorless land, so we're going to mulligan this. Not great. Let's keep it. Scry any land at the bottom. Any elf to the top. Crop rotation for Cavern of Souls is pretty good. Don't really need that. I think it's good, but I think it's definitely on my list of things that can be cut. I put just about every useful 2 mana elf that could possibly be played into the deck, or 1 mana elf. So I would like to let's do this before he gets an opportunity to counter anything. I guess he could wasteland it. But yeah, I'd like to. I think the deck could use some more 2 mana elves instead of some of the cards that aren't elves. Because I'd love to have more 1 mana elves, but there just aren't any that are useful. If you want anything beyond a stock 1/1, we're running it already. It's not a lot. There's the deck list. Ezuri Elves. So, you know, it's a bunch of 1-drops. Stoneforge Masterwork is actually a 1-drop, but I'd rather have elves. But that's pretty much all the elves that you can run. But I think the 2-drop slot could be. You could add 2 or 3 more 2-drops if there are 2 or 3. You got most of the good ones in there. I know there's at least one that's playable. So that might be something I'm looking to do. Did he miss a land drop? He missed a land drop. Too bad we already put a forest in the graveyard. Our hand has been pretty lackluster. We've only drawn lands, haven't we? Maybe I should have kept the Stoneforge Masterwork, but if it were a 2-mana elf, that would have been fantastic. Looks like he kept one land, Ancestral plus Deathrite. I'd like a cheaper elf that I could like regenerate with Ezuri. Although Ezuri might just die here. That's kind of what Tasker decks do. Alright. Oh, he took my one elf. He left me with 2 lands. This deck's actually running 34 lands. So, slightly less. You've got to be kidding me. Sometimes it happens. Could at least not hit the Dwinin Guiltleaf Dan. Just Dwinin. It's just much easier to just say Dwinin. He put another land in the graveyard. And his Ancestral's about to, yeah. You see my great hand? It's a fabulous hand. Interesting to see that now blue decks are playing Peak. It's actually a pretty decent card. Alright. Yeah, let's play around some sort of disc. Well, I mean, there's not much discord that gets. I guess no, there is because you could Raven's Crime me to like my hand gone. So let's play the Wirewood Lodge, and we might even untap this elf with this. So let's play Priest of Titania. We can regenerate it. Deathrite Shaman is an elf. So it currently generates 3 mana. And then it generates 1 more through the Wirewood Lodge. Just generate 3 mana. Well, I mean, I guess we could just pump these guys. And we might need to kill Jace. Of course, if he plays Tassiger here, which it looks like he's going to. I mean, this Cavern of Souls was so good, but like we've only drawn 1 elf. So, I think the current deck as it is a little lean on elves. Ugh. Freaking Jit. That is like the worst card for this deck to deal with. There are a few ways. He hasn't activated Jace yet. Oh, draw a card then? No. Okay, there he goes. Strange that he didn't. So, if I play this, I play this, this generates 4 mana, I untap it, I add 1 more mana, oh no, this generates 4 mana, so I use 2, so I only have 2. Otherwise I generate 3 mana, untap it, so I can't play this? Because I want to at least pressure this Jace, and so a 3/3 and a 4/4 with trample actually does it. But man, that Jit just ends me. So I can 1, 2. And it's 4 mana. Untap. It's just enough, isn't it? 4 mana, down to 2. No. Oh, I really need both of these things. And it's still not enough. I cannot beat Jit. Just cannot be Jit. Except he moved to his attack early. He can equip it now and make attacks pretty bad for me, but that was actually really awesome. But that was a big mistake. They really need cantrips bad. I mean, Tassiger has Thought Scour and Mental Note. So it seems strange to play Opt as well. Peaked I get. And Probe. Those make sense. I don't know. Opt's probably fine. Alright. Tassiger it is. Now if I had played Fauna Shaman and drew a creature this turn, I'd be able to use it this turn. Yeah, I wasn't going to attack you anyways. Alright, well you're late to the party. Alright, so I think we're actually in an alright position here. It's going to be really hard for him to attack. He pretty much has to move the Jit over. So this generates 4 mana. So we can only do it once. Oh my god. That's brutal. Now we like absolutely have to draw Reclamation Sage. Or Green Sun Zenith. Reclamation Sage would be better because it only costs 2 mana. But otherwise, just our creatures just get eaten to death. As it were, we could have pumped them all up and kept them away from getting killed by the Jit. We'd have to keep doing that like forever, but... Alright, I can't beat a Jit. Not like that. Not once he bounced all my creatures. So, oh well. Alright, so I decided to make a few changes. I wanted to cut some of the non-elf spells and add some elves. I noticed Copperhorn Scout wasn't in the deck, and that's a pretty decent 1-drop. And then I wanted to add some 2-drops. So I found Bloodline Shaman. Where'd my preview pane go? So, Bloodline Shaman lets you choose a creature type. You choose Elf. You reveal the top card. If the card is a creature of the chosen type, put it in your hand. Otherwise, put it in your graveyard. So you can use that to, you know, it seems like card advantage, and you can even filter out lands and stuff like that if you wanted to. So I want to give that a try. I don't know if it's going to be great, but I want to give it a try. And 2-drops seem like, you know, I mean, I wanted to fill in the 2-drops. And then I added Ren's Run Pack Vanquisher, a 3/3 touch. It's pretty much always going to be 2 mana, especially now that we just added some elves. And then Pendlehaven Elder, which turns each 1/1 into a 2/3. And then you can activate that and then activate Ezuri. So that's pretty awesome. And then Viridian Shaman to deal with... I decided it was worth it to deal with Jit. So I decided that Earthcraft is definitely better than Cryptolith, right? And it would suck if you drew both of them. I do like the ability, but... You know, I don't know. I had to cut something that wasn't an elf. There are a bunch of non-elf spells jamming it up, so I decided Cryptolith Right, Worldly Tutor, the Stoneforge I was talking about, Paradox Engine. It's really expensive, and it just seems like a win more. I don't know, it seems like it'd be really awesome, but I'd more want to play that because it's fun, not because it's good, which might be a reason to play it, but... And then the one I'm least sure about is Elvish Promenade, but it is 4 mana, and it hasn't been very good in my hands in the past, so I decided to cut it. Might want to consider it to bring it back, but we'll see what happens. And then I noticed when I found the Pendlehaven Elder that Pendlehaven itself isn't in the deck, so I added that and I cut a forest. So I'm going to give it a try from there. Alright, and we got another game. I am on the draw this time. This is not a keepable hand. Apparently close my preview pane. Do love Nettle Sentinel, but can't play any cards. Don't get a scry to guarantee I could draw a land, so we mulligan this. Alright, this hand looks okay. Definitely don't want another land. What are we playing against? Animar. Animar Elves? So Song of the Dryad seems good. Animar is fortunately not pro-green. The +1/+1 counters still apply. Fauna Shaman is less than I'd like to have happen. Now we'll play the Elvish Visionary. Alright, draw another land. Not attacking. Although he probably can just discard something to get a Reclamation Sage. I really need to stop the Fauna Shaman too. Heroic Intervention probably could have been cut. That was the other one I was probably thinking of. So I might swap that out for Promenade. At least this forces him to do it. He can actually activate it now. Fortunately, he didn't, because it's a worse way to use up his mana. Alright, Lotus Cobra. Turns out Lotus Cobra is really good. So he's going for it. These were 2 counters down. There's the Reclamation Sage. So it would have been good if he hadn't also had the Fauna Shaman. Being a mono green deck, we're definitely very light on removal. And this deck is so much faster than us. Alright, and he leaves Animar tapped. He might still be able to put a counter on it. He's down to 2 cards in hand. Looks like that it's it this turn. He can return an elf though. We don't have many. Well, we have some artifacts and enchantments. I'm probably going to get Regal Force and play this Ranger. Giant 5/5 that draws cards. Oh, geez, that's pretty good. Discards Mill Drifter and gets what? Animar's tough to beat. Pestermite. Are you comboing me? Oh, that's no fun. I mean, I guess it just ends the game. Alright, you got it. What are you getting? This Fauna Shaman, man. Maybe I should have just Song of Dryad the Fauna Shaman. Animal are such a big threat, though. But it might have been correct to... I think it probably would have been correct to Dryads the Fauna Shaman. I'm pretty sure we're dead here. But let's draw 5 cards anyways. Oh, do we not have enough? It's 7 mana? I've never played Regal Force before. Alright, let's play it anyways. Untap target creature. Turn a forest. Well, we can Court a Calling for 1. Is there anything that stops it? Probably not. It taps us down so the Heritage Druid doesn't do anything. The Symbiote. Let's just hold on to it. Discard some lands. If we live another turn, we can... I don't think we live another turn. But if we live another turn, we can Court a Calling for the Heritage Druid. I'm not going to make him go through all this. If he gets Kiki Jiki, we're just moving on. Nope, it's done. Alright, good game. Alright, got another one. We're on the play. Looks like a very keepable hand. What are you playing against? Click. Our hand is fairly hard to counterspell. Three Death Touch is pretty good. It's a new addition to the deck. Very aggressive. Kind of already putting him on the defensive. Alright, doesn't look like he's really playing into it. Oh. Yiva's really good, especially in this instance. Let's play Moss Bridge. I want this bestiary. Because it's really good against this kind of a deck, where every time you play a spell, you can draw a card. Makes it hard to one-for-one counter spell. Alright, that cuts down my mana a bit, but we got 7 damage in play now. Is he going to do it on my draw? Nope. Let's play this land first. We need 10. Let's go to the Tree Speaker first. Alright. The Elves second. Alright, he's countering an elf. Clicking me? Oh, forbid with buyback. Alright. Still have to deal with the 2 things on the board. I'd probably play the Channeler into the... Oh. Yeah, let's play the Channeler. Let's do it after combat. I guess there's the click to worry about. He could block with a click and take something, but then he's not countering something. And both of these spells are pretty good. As is Ezuri. Ezuri's really good. So he decides not to. Alright, so let's make him counter this. We'd rather have the Warcaller resolve. Might even get another mana next turn. And then... if he wants to forbid with buyback, that's all of the cards in his hand. Alright, memory lapse. Alright. That sucks a bit. It still uses up his mana, so he can't click. Alright, it's Flash of Insight. Oh, he discarded that with Forbid. It's a pretty good play. Didn't actually notice that was in the graveyard. Slate a hand. I think he's priced into blocking with click here. He doesn't necessarily have to. Although, if he waits till next turn, he takes 7. He has to block the 4/4. If he casts this and he counters it for more than 1 mana, he can't play the click. I think that's correct. Okay. I guess he could have Cryptic Command, which actually plays into this poorly. That's the one card that would be pretty bad for us. But the fact that he hasn't just, like, jammed it means he probably doesn't have it. So this puts him in a pretty tight spot. If he lets it resolve, he can't profitably lock with click. If he doesn't let it resolve, if he counters it, then he can't block with click. We let it resolve. Alright. Still can't block with click. Do we play this for 1 mana? It's so awful for 1 mana. Is it doing anything else? So he's at 4. No, I don't think it does anything. Do we do it again? The chances of him drawing into... Because that makes both of these creatures lethal. He can play a 2-mana counter spell and then still block with click. But it runs him out of answers pretty quick. Oh, he drew the Cryptic Command. That sucks. Surprised he didn't tap down my creatures. Yeva's still pretty bad in my hand. I guess you can click it away. Alright, which one you... I guess I could have cast Yeva, but he counters it. Oh, no! I should have played Ezuri. What was I thinking? Oh, why did I not play Ezuri there? Alright, well, I'm priced into attacking anyways. He has to block. Nope. Can't do that. Let's play this thing. Stop doing that. Okay. No? He just wants to scry. Because he did it for 0. Oh, jeez. Come on. I have him at 1 life. I don't know if he wants to trade me. It doesn't. He's dead, I think. All right. Whew. That was way too close. Um, but that was mostly on the fact that we were able to get 7 power in play underneath counter spells in the first early turns. Like we came out really, really aggressive. He almost piloted his way back into it. But the heroic intervention was to make sure he didn't have anything to bounce Ezuri. And then he didn't have enough toughness to prevent the trample. So he probably should have traded me for Ezuri. Probably should have untapped Shackles and traded and gotten Ezuri. But then I could have generated more mana in Regal Force, but then he would have taken the Regal Force, and who knows what we would have drawn. So, that was an interesting game.